So the long-awaited launch of Poco's brand new flagship killer has finally happened, and the company has announced the Poco F2 Pro yesterday. Now, much like most of you, I too watched the live event and I have a lot of thoughts about the Poco F2 Pro. So in this video, I'll tell you 5 reasons why the smartphone will be a huge success if it launches in India, and 3 reasons which might hold it back. But before we get on with the video, guys, make sure to hit the bell icon and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already, so that you don't miss out on any quality tech content that we put out. Now that you've done that, let's get on with the video. Okay, so let's take a couple of steps back. Now, let me ask you, what do you think was the one reason why the Poco F1 was such a popular smartphone in India and in other parts of the world as well? I mean, we had a lot of international YouTubers also cover the smartphone, and the reason was very simple. The smartphone offered a Snapdragon 845 processor at a price which was unheard of. So it's good to see that with the F2 Pro, the company is going back to its roots and they've launched the Poco F2 Pro with a Snapdragon 865 processor, which also works alongside LPDDR5 memory. I understand that that's only for the top tier version, but still, it's good that it's there. And it also comes with UFS 3.1 storage, which also means extremely fast read and write speeds. But I'll be very honest with you, that really wasn't the star of the show for me. The star of the show for me was the 10 NTC sensors the brand is using to actively monitor the temperatures along with the Liquid Cool Tech 2.0. Now, I've said this many times before, but your phone, especially if it's a flagship, has a lot of horsepower and that just generates a ton of heat, which needs to be dissipated adequately, especially during the summers. If not, then let me be very clear with you. It does not matter if your phone has a Snapdragon 700 series processor or a Snapdragon 800 series processor. Somewhere down the line, the performance is going to throttle so much that you're going to have a lot of dipped frames, like the company rightfully showed with the Exynos 990 variant of the Samsung Galaxy S20 series. Now, I have that smartphone and take my word for it, that phone heats up like crazy, and that is partly why the frames are very inconsistent when you're gaming on the phone. The CPU is not all that bad, the CPU is actually pretty capable, but the thermal throttling issues do affect the performance quite a bit. So these are my one more quad driver earphones. Well, this is actually the case for the earphones. These are my one more quad driver earphones. Now, they are a pair of excellent high-res certified earphones which are currently collecting dust because my OnePlus 70 Pro does not come with a headphone jack. Now, I have a lot of Bluetooth earphones too, but I could be using an earphone with the best possible Bluetooth codec and I will still face latency when I'm playing PUBG or Call of Duty. It's actually come to a point where I'd rather not play PUBG because I don't have a dongle right now and I don't have any Type-C earphones either. So without earphones, games like PUBG just do not give me the same competitive edge as they give other players. So I am glad that the Poco F2 Pro comes with a high-res certified headphone jack, and it's actually something that I want to see more and more flagships use and incorporate in the future. Okay, so this one is pretty self-explanatory. A display with a small notch is great, but a display with no notch is even better. Now, that's part of the reason why I put up with a curved screen on the 70 Pro when I much prefer the flatter display on the OnePlus 7T. Honestly, if that phone didn't come with the notch, I'd be using it for sure. But full screen displays do make for more immersive Netflix binge sessions, and the benefits for gaming are countless too. No misaligned on-screen buttons, bigger area for your fingers to move with, a wider field of view, and so on. So no notch on the Poco F2 Pro is great. And no, I'm not worried about the pop-up mechanism failing because I've used this phone, the 70 Pro, which also comes with a pop-up selfie camera, for I think 6 months now, and I've dropped it multiple times. And the pop-up mechanism is working just fine. So when I made the Mi 10 video a couple of days ago, a lot of you guys actually pointed out that the quad camera setup on the smartphone should not really be dubbed as one because the 2 megapixel depth and macro sensors were kind of pointless. Now, I don't exactly agree with it, but I do understand where you guys were coming from. A telephoto lens is any given day more useful than those 2 sensors. So yeah. With the Poco F2 Pro, you are going to get just that. You're going to get a telephoto lens which can double up as a macro camera as well, and you're also going to get a wide angle shooter, plus you're going to get Sony IMX686 64 megapixel main sensor. So you pull all of that together and you get a smartphone which can take a variety of shots across a variety of different scenarios. So that's great. Okay, so the Poco F2 Pro comes with a 4700 mAh battery, which, let's just all agree, is a lot of mAh for your phone. Now, coupled with MIUI's aggressive battery saving algorithms, and one more reason which I'll mention in the next section, the Poco F2 Pro is for sure going to have excellent battery life from the word go. Now that means that you'll have more time away from the wall charger playing games, watching movies, binging on Netflix, and calling me out for using a tactile scope in the comments. I mean, I don't understand why you guys were all up against me using a tactical scope in Call of Duty. It's a good scope. What's wrong with that? Let's address the elephant in the room right away. So the Poco F2 Pro is straight up a ripoff of the Redmi K30 Pro. There is no two ways about it. It's the exact same smartphone without the Redmi branding at the back. Now, a lot of you guys were upset about it, and I understand why. If you're paying a lot of money for a brand new smartphone, then the last thing you want is for it to be a replica of any other phone. I get that. But at the same time, you have to understand that the reason why the F2 Pro is so darn cheap, at least when you compare it to the competition, is because Poco did not have to invest a lot of money into R&D for innovative designs or innovative features. Now, it's not like the company is launching the F2 Pro in the same markets as the Redmi K30 Pro. Now, that would have been awkward. So, from where I stand, as long as I'm getting a very good, a very powerful smartphone for very less money, I'm okay with it having the same design as a phone which was launched in a completely different country. I don't care about that. Now, I know this was a big issue on the internet and a lot of people were talking about it, so that is one of the reasons why I wanted to address it. From where I stand, I don't really care about the design being the same as that of the Redmi K30 Pro, but do let me know your opinions in the comments below. Now, say what you will about the Poco X2, the smartphone did introduce a 120Hz display in a segment which was dominated by 60Hz panels, and I commend the company for that. Which is why it's equal parts surprising and equal parts disappointing when the company introduced the Poco F2 Pro, their brand new flagship with a 60Hz display. Not only is it going to affect your end user experience, but it's also going to be detrimental to your gaming experience down the line when games like PUBG and Call of Duty start offering 90 FPS and 120 FPS modes here in India, as you won't be able to benefit from those added FPS on the F2 Pro. Honestly, I would have paid slightly more money to get a higher refresh rate, at least a 90Hz display on the Poco F2 Pro. Okay, so this last point might seem like a little bit of nitpicking, but it's still valid enough, at least in the Indian smartphone scene. Now, if you look at the competition that the Poco F2 Pro might have to go up against should it launch in India, you have devices like the Realme X50 Pro, which come with 65 watt wired charging. And then there are phones like the iQOO 3 which offer 55 watt wired charging support. So when you look at all the competition, the F2 Pro will undoubtedly have difficulty standing out of the crowd in this department with its 30 watt fast charging. Now don't get me wrong, it's still going to refuel in like an hour, but it's still slower than what you get with other devices. So guys, those were my 2 cents on the Poco F2 Pro after watching the launch event yesterday. Now do let me know in the comments below of what you think of the F2 Pro. Do you think it's a great smartphone? Do you think the 60Hz display is a bit of a miss from the company? What do you think about the Antutu scores and the comparisons the brand made with Samsung Galaxy S20 series? All of that, let me know in the comments below. Let's get a discussion going on there. And until next time, this is Prateek from Mr. Phone signing off.